Right, ladies and gentlemen, again another episode where we are again going to address the whole Bale to Arsenal situation, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to Arsenal, and of course a new striker into Arsenal's um, transfer list as well. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Stay tuned for that. And if you see daily Arsenal content, best place to be, consider subscribing. I would really like to apologize for not putting content yesterday night because there was, to be real with you, I don't think so. There was a lot of, there was not even a little bit of a new content for you guys. So I thought, you know what, let me take some time out and wait for some better content. Well, we do have some better content, but just better content, not the best ones, but still. Any content is just something that I really like to bring it for you guys. So the first thing that we have is Mark Gahey of Crystal Palace says Arsenal is one of the biggest clubs in world football, let alone in England. We will definitely be ready for that game. It's a big opportunity to go and hopefully try and get the 3 points, but we know it's going to be a tough game. So they have the real belief that they can get some points. Some, well, they might get all the points that they're seeking for Crystal Palace against Arsenal tonight. But the belief, that has to really come handy when it is required. So DefensaCentral.com say that Mikel Arteta is very much interested in signing Real Madrid striker Luka Jovic as Alexander Lacazette's replacement. Oh, I don't believe this news 100%, so let's move on. So the Guardian's predicted lineups for Arsenal versus Crystal Palace is as follows: Ramsdale, White, Gabriel, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Partey, Lokonga, okay, Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and Aubameyang. Okay, but for Crystal Palace, they say it's going to be Zaha, Ayew, Edward, MacArthur, Gallagher, Milivojevic, Mitchell, Gahey, Anderson, Ward, and Guaita. So that is the lineup according to Guardian. What is your predicted lineup for Arsenal versus Crystal Palace? Let me know in the comments. If you ask me, of course the back four will be same: Tomiyasu, Gabriel, White, and Tierney. Ramsdale starts, Partey and Lokonga, of course. But on this one, I'd have Pepe on the left, Saka on the right, Odegaard as a number 10, and of course Aubameyang up top. Or Lacazette up top, I don't mind. Lacazette up top is not a bad idea at all. So that helps. If Lacazette up top, I think that helps to add another dimension. Yeah, he would be really good in linking up play, but nobody knows who's going to finish if he's going to link up play. So I think I'd rather have Emil start ahead of Odegaard, or Emil can start on the right hand, on the left hand side, and Saka starts on the right hand side. So Saka or Emil will have the onus to finish the goals. Emil is not that good at it. Saka can improve. So that is my concern. If there's Aubameyang, you have someone, a hitman to score a goal. But if it's Lacazette, he's going deep to actually create, and there has to be someone to shoot actually. So I hope we get a goal from Emil or Saka. I just hope tonight. What is your plan if you were Mikel Arteta? What would be your plan? What would be your 11? Let me know in the comments. Yeah. Moving on, let's talk about Newcastle United. Well, they can confirm that there was a supporter who actually collapsed during the game against Tottenham. So they have actually confirmed that the supporter who required emergency medical treatment during yesterday's game at St. James's Park is stable and responsive in hospital. They tweeted that. So thank goodness. Thank goodness. Not showing his image or any image pertaining to the whole reasons. Simple reasons, because I don't want to do that. It's actually sensitive, so I would not want to do that. So yeah. So moving on. So my personal suggestion, or before going into that, I think, yeah, Matteo Guendouzi was superb yesterday. He actually assisted. Yes, he was fantastic. Yes, he scored 2 goals and assisted one for against Lorient. Matteo Guendouzi, 61 passes, 93% pass accuracy, 2 key passes. This is against his former club Lorient. So 2 out of 2 accurate long balls, 5 out of 5 successful dribbles, 1 tackle, 1 out of 1 aerial duels, 8 out of 10 ground duels, 1. Superb masterclass from Matteo Guendouzi. And my suggestion of Arsenal to sign someone for the striker's role If you can pay, I know Napoli have paid an astronomical amount to Lille to sign him, and he's really coming clutch this season for them. 9 games, 8 goals, 2 penalties, won, a goal every 82 minutes, 28% conversion rate. This guy is a hit man for Napoli. He's just killing it for them, and he scored the winner yesterday as well. They continue their unbeaten run for 8 games, top of the table, unbeaten. They're really awesome uh, this season, and this guy will definitely. I don't know. The price tag would be a lot, 80 million. They paid a lot for him already. So unless if we could sign him on, have just 1 year left in his contract or a free transfer, Arsenal have to fork out a lot of money. And this guy is a crazy signing. It would be an awesome signing for Arsenal. Moving on, Hector Bellerin's agent has given an update. He's actually spoken out on the reasons why he left Arsenal to join Real Betis. He says it wasn't only about Arsenal, it was also about the Premier League, about the country, about everything. He moved when he was 16 from Barcelona to Arsenal, from Spain to England. During the pandemic time, without his family, he was so alone in North London, only training then going home. He had more time to think about it, and he thought this was the right time to move on. So he's moved on from Arsenal. So I think that was the last that we saw of Hector Bellerin at Arsenal. All the best for him, man. Well, talking about Gareth Bale, it looks like according to Defensa Central, Arsenal have already made an offer to Real Madrid to bring Gareth Bale to the Emirates Stadium in January. Arsenal reportedly offered Lacazette in exchange for the Welshman. The initial bid was rejected by Los Blancos. So it looks like Gareth Bale to Arsenal, and Defensa Central are very much confident and sure about it. Moving on, so talking about William Saliba, he actually spoke about what did Pablo Longoria, Marseille president, spoke to him in trying to convince him to bring him to Marseille. He says, Longoria told me that if I wanted to reach the next level in my progression, I had to come here. If you can perform at Marseille to play under this pressure, you can play anywhere else. I hadn't even signed yet, and I was already getting messages from supporters. I've never seen passion like this in this town, the only thing that matters in Olympique Marseille. With Jorge Sampaoli, we have to give it our all from start to finish. We can't do things half-heartedly. Sometimes I don't put enough power on my passes, and he tells me those are kids' passes. So I hope Saliba, comes back super strong. Let's hope that happens. Let's really hope that happens. You know. Well, moving on, talking about different stuffs. Well, the Daily Star have reported that Mikel Arteta wants to bring Sterling to the Emirates Stadium. Calcio Mercato also said that, that could be the case. But Garth Crooks has a message for Raheem Sterling on BBC Sport. He said, as for Sterling, unlike De Bruyne, he's lost some of his confidence when playing for City, yet not for England. I have sensed for some time now that the relationship between Pep and Sterling is not what it was. Maybe it is time for Sterling to leave. The question is where? Well, we all know Sterling is also contemplating about that, so that'll be crazy. Bernardo Silva and Sterling leaving, wow. Wow, things are changing at Manchester City. But Real Madrid are reportedly interested in signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and they've joined Arsenal in the race to sign Everton striker. According to a report by Italian outlet Calcio Mercato, Arsenal are no longer the only club that are keen on signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It's because Carlo Ancelotti loves him and he would want to bring him at the Santiago Bernabeu. Well, I doubt if he's thinking of Dominic Calvert-Lewin because their whole attention is at Erling Haaland. I don't believe this news. Moving on, the guy in the picture who's actually wearing that Red Bull Salzburg kit, his name is Roko Simic. Arsenal are now battling Tottenham Hotspur for his signing. He's a striker by nature, and he could actually be worth around £7 million plus add-ons. According to Sunday Mirror, Arsenal are looking to swoop in and sign Simic. It's claimed that the striker is being compared to Mario Mandzukic in terms of being a big and physical Croatian centre forward. The 18-year-old was born in Italy and he's son of former AC Milan defender Dario Simic. After showing some potential at Lokomotiva Zagreb, Salzburg swooped in as they look for another striking wonder kid. Simic is off on loan at feeder club FC Liefering, and he has smashed 7 goals in 7 games to attract a lot of interest as well. Well, Red Bull, I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's a report that says Tottenham and West Ham both want to sign Simic. Salzburg have helped develop a lot of talents, Daka, there is Haaland, Adeyemi. Simic could be the next in the production line. So in the pipeline, Simic is coming on. Would you want, if you know anything about Simic, let me know in the comments. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I know I should not say this, but Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain did not get a game time against Watford, I guess. That's what the report says. So it is they're pretty much sure that they would want to offload Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. So let's see how things will change. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, cheers, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.